Hello lovely people, welcome to the video. My name's Athena. I'm a writer working on my first book whilst homeschooling my two girls and being with them 24/7. I'm writing a fantasy romance. I realised in the previous vlog I never really talk about my book like much. So quick little intro I thought before I go off to make lunch. I have probably 10 minutes, maybe 5. Quick intro before we dive into, I have a lot of work to do after lunch, but we shall talk about that in a moment. I'm working on a fantasy romance. I feel like it's heavier on the fantasy right now than the romance, but the romance really impacts the plot and the fantasy, like the magic, yeah, it's very intertwined. So I'm not sure. I'm calling it a fantasy romance right now. I don't think it's a romantasy. It could, I guess it could be marketed as such. Let's move on. So we have lost heirs, we have lost memories, we have missing artifacts that will bring back magic to the land. We have our two main protagonists. We have our FMC and our MMC, and they are both vying for the same things pretty much. Like, they have common goals, but they kind of differentiate after a point. They're both heirs to the same throne, but they both can't be the heir to the same throne. You know? There's a quest involved where they have to go and find magical artifacts. That's like the main like fun and games section where they're looking for these artifacts and they're going through a whole bunch of lot of things happening there. And then everything is just torn apart at the end. I love it. Anyway, there's a lot of magic, there's a lot of romance, there's a lot of friendships, a lot of family dynamics, a lot of toxic family dynamics. Yeah, family plays a big role. Big role. Anyway, I need to figure out a way to talk about my book a bit more. And I realized I don't do it much, which means I don't practice, which means I can't do it because I don't do it. Does that, yeah. I just went around in a circle, didn't I? Anyway, I'm gonna start practicing talking about my book more. I don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, I do need to know how to pitch it, basically. So we're gonna practice doing that. Moving on. Today, what I have to do, it is Monday, it is the 6th of October. I flew through a whole bunch of chapters on Friday. I revised 8 chapters in a day because they were just like small changes, small shifts, small things. It was not too hard. I got a lot of work done, basically. I'm super proud of myself. And now I am up to a set of 4 chapters. 4 chapters which need so much work. And when I say so much work, I mean one chapter needs to be switched into a different POV completely. 2 of them need to be rearranged, like the information in them needs to be switched timeline-wise, and then I need to add some information from the previous chapter that's going to be cut and shifted to another POV. I need to move it into another chapter. There's a lot of rewriting, a lot of new chapter writing, there's a lot of work that needs to happen. And I was kind of sitting here looking at my printed out version now as I'm kind of like, it's 5 minutes until I have to go and get lunch going. What was I even saying? I was interrupted because why not? That's the thing, when you have like a lot of work, you know. Anyway, okay, we're moving on. Chapter 45. So chapter 45 is going to be moved into my male protagonist's POV, so into Maddox's POV. Then we're going to move some of the information from chapter 45 is going to move to chapter 47, which is Petra's POV. Because 46 is also Maddox's POV. So we're gonna have 45, 46 in his POV, then Petra's gonna pop in 47. Chapter 48 is going to be cut into 2. So I'm basically gonna create 2 chapters out of the 1 chapter. So we're gonna have her POV initially, or is it his POV initially? No, her POV. So we're gonna switch a whole part that was his POV into her POV, and then we're gonna stop that at a certain point and make a separate chapter in his POV continuing the scene. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, once I start kind of getting the notes into my Scrivener document, I think it'll make more sense. So yeah, so we're switching POV of 1 character. The thing with chapter 45, I'm gonna have to rewrite completely, basically, because the first scene, there are 2 scenes in chapter 45. And one of them I'm scrapping completely, and the other I'm moving into chapter 47, because it's in Petra's POV. So technically, chapter 45 is a whole new chapter of like the base information from the chapter as it was already, but in a very different format, very different, you know, because he sees things different to her. So, and we're shifting the timeline a bit. So this was supposed to happen a month after the latest event. They've just found the first artifact at this point, and a lot of things have happened between them. And I had this scene happen immediately after they got back from the first part of the quest. But now I think, based on my critique partner's advice as well, that I'm going to add space in between that and kind of create a bit more yearning, a bit more pining, a little bit more of like a, frustration building, basically, and set it happening a little while later, and kind of letting them boil a bit, if you will. And that will kind of, help, with tension and whatnot as well, I think. So we're shifting the timeline a little bit. So 45 is right after they come back from the first initial step of the quest. And then 46 is basically a month later, pretty much a month later, where he's just kind of done with it all, and he's just, and kind of recounting where they're at. And then we dive into this really, really, really fun scene that I love. I absolutely love this scene. It's just, I love it. It's chef's kiss. It's just one of those scenes between the two of them that is just... And then 47 needs a bit of shifting, needs a bit of moving around. It's gonna need quite a bit of and 48 needs to be broken into two again. Oh my gosh, I have so much work. Okay, my thoughts, based on the fact that there's quite a bit to do with these chapters, is this gonna take me a few days. I think I will be like, okay, it is the 6th. I know that moving forward, I don't have such big edits. This is probably like one of the biggest edits that I have in this part of the book, right? So, and the funny thing is that once I get started, I might actually finish it sooner than I think. But at this point where I'm just theoretically like kind of looking at it and just imagining it rather than actually doing, it feels, and there's my cue to end this. So yeah, I will do lunch and we'll just get to work after and see how we go. I look like a mess because cooking lunch will do that to you. So I'm just looking at my pacemaker and I'm like, my initial plan of finishing this by the 15th of October is just, we're still working towards it. I'm not really going crazy with goals because I feel like that'll just set me up for failure. So we have a loose goal of the 15th and we'll just see how that goes. Now, what I'm doing right now, I am going to start tackling the transfer of information. However, in these specific chapters with all the switching back and forth, the girls are just dancing to Halloween music, they're being little dags. The main crux of it will be, chapter 45 will basically be a new document, really. Like a new little document in my Scrivener. You know what I mean. A blank scene card, blank all the stuff, just a new thing completely with the points of what I want to be done in this. Like, it's going to be pretty much an outline. There's, and a general little brainstorm. And then I'm going to have to, And then chapter 46, I'm going to go in and add the details. Chapter 47 is going to be a lot of moving around with chapter 47. Oh, goodness. Okay. And then chapter 48. Yeah, it's not a simple transfer of information like it's been up to now, where I've kind of just transferred the notes onto the document. I now need to really, starting by changing the fact that chapter 45 says Petra, so we're going to go chapter 45, Maddox, we're going to switch the POV, because it's the easiest thing to do and it's step 1, and that'll hopefully get the momentum going. I have no idea if I'm going to get any work done today. I don't know, it's just, the time change, did I mention the time change is killing me? The time changed yesterday. I think it's daylight savings now here. We're heading into summer, basically. I hate it when the time changes. I hate it because my brain, my body, I don't know, it's 1 hour, I know, but it messes with me big time. I don't know why. It always has. So anyway, I'm gonna just trudge along and see if I can get anything done, basically. It's 2 o'clock, 10 past 2 at this point, and the girls are playing, so it's the perfect time. Okay, let's do this. POV has been changed. New untitled document. After return. Okay. So we're gonna move that. I don't need the original. I can go completely. I really don't need it. I don't need anything from it really. From the first, no. So yes.
I have Halloween decorations like little ghosties that go on the wall. I hate this print.
Well, Grandma's gonna come later and do like stuff with you guys, so.
We could craft with Grandma. I'm gonna blow. I think it's around. We don't have it yet.
Whoa, careful.
We don't have it.
Okay. I changed the POV and moved the scene that needs to go to chapter 47 to chapter 47's folder. I've been interrupted already 3 times in the last 5 minutes, so that's fun. Okay. I just need to start from somewhere. And looking at a blank document is terrifying. But there's nothing I need from the previous scene, so like it's not, I can do this. I have notes that I can type up, and that'll help me kind of get the momentum going. Okay, so let's type up the little notes I have, which are very little, like 3 sentences worth. But that'll, you know.
Mama, I want to put Halloween songs on Alexa.
She's not playing Halloween songs?
No, just songs. Yeah, that's what songs.
Yes?
It's not stupid.
It'll go to the next song. Say Alexa, next song.
I'd rather let the song finish.
Okay.
But it's too quiet.
Okay. Yeah. How many times can a person get interrupted in 5 minutes? Yes, baby.
Can you lift the volume?
Okay, okay.
Mom,
Yes.
it's literally singing way too ridiculous Halloween songs. So ridiculous. If the songs that are playing right now, which is Halloween songs.
Okay. Last little clip of the day. I am betting it's 3:45. Hubby will be home any minute. I have had so many interruptions today. I have managed to set up the 4 chapters. The five chapters? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 5 chapters, because I have officially cut chapter 48 into 2 chapters, which is what was the initial plan. So there were 4 chapters. One of the chapters is cut into 2 and made into 2 chapters. So I now have 5 chapters that I'm currently work in progress, basically. I've transferred all the notes into them. I have brainstormed. I have all my little bracketed paragraphs of what I want to happen in various steps. So technically chapter 45 is an outline at this point, if you will. And there's people walking by my window, so I'm getting distracted. And everything has been broken down. I have all the notes in there. I have the ideas. I know what I'm working with, which means I doubt I'll get any writing done today, honestly, because I have like a bunch of other things I need to do. But tomorrow, when it is time for writing, I'm jumping on chapter 45. That is the plan. That is the dealio. And the funny thing is that these chapters are the final chapters. These 5 chapters are the final chapters of like the first part of the quest. The first part, like, because the second part of the book is cut up into 3 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 2 itself is then cut up into 3 parts itself. So these are the final 5 chapters of the first little chunk of part 2. And then we have 2 more little like quests, little items that need to be found, and they're, you know, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even. I'm a bit tired. I don't know if you can tell. So, I have accomplished something for today. It's definitely an accomplishment because I had to kind of figure everything out, how I wanted it all to, like, it has to work, at least in my head, for me to then be able to write it and make it work. So, I think it works, and it works out better, which I'll see tomorrow. Which we'll see. As we write the chapters, how it reads, how it works. Well, yeah. I don't even. Okay. I got a lot of work on these chapters. I feel like Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah, I feel like definitely I might have to take a good 2, 3, if not 4 days on these chapters. Sometimes it works out faster. It's what I said, like I've gotten more work done in the past 15 minutes than I have gotten all day long. So, you know, it depends on a lot of things. Which I'll see. The goal is to get done as soon as possible whilst doing a good job at the same time. So I'm not really setting, we'll see how we go. We'll see how much work we get done tomorrow. Who knows? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hello. So, it is Tuesday morning. Well, morning. It is 12 o'clock on Tuesday, the 7th of October. I have just sat down, finally. Everything is done. Everything has been done. I even have like half of lunch prepped. So, homeschool done. Laundry has been moved to the dryer. Bunch of things. I still have laundry to fold, but we're gonna do that later because, okay? Okay. So, I am tackling chapter 45. I have about half an hour until hubby calls me during his lunch break. So, I'm hoping I can get the first draft of chapter 45 down in half an hour. That is the goal. What up, Chicky? Okay. Yeah. So that is the goal. I'm gonna get writing. I'm gonna stop rambling and get to writing. And hopefully I have a little bit that I started writing yesterday, but it's like, it was just, you know, 4 sentences kind of thrown on there. Yeah. It might give me a bit of a head start though. So I'm gonna read those and kind of just keep going. I know what I want to write. I've kind of broken it down into like parts. Like I know I want to do a small recap of the previous night. So when they returned from the quest and what happened when they returned from the quest, I want his minor feelings and thoughts on that. Then I want the current day, like where he's going, what he's thinking, what they're doing. And then there's a bit of a time jump. So that's where I need to kind of, yeah, see how we do. I don't know. I'm gonna get to work. I need some music and I need to get to work. Okay. I'll see you at 12:30. Okay, I look like a mess probably, but that's fine. Lunch has been had, all the things have happened. What did I accomplish in the half an hour that I had? So first things first, it is 1:48 right now. I got in that 30 minutes of work. In that 30 minutes that I gave myself, I actually tackled 2 chapters. So I tackled chapter 45 and chapter 46. Chapter 46 didn't have as much as chapter 45. Chapter 45 was like a whole brand new chapter. But the thing was, once I got into the flow, and this is what I mean when I say sometimes, oh, I feel like this might take me a long time. But then again, I'm not sure it will. Because once I get into the flow of a scene, and I know what's happening in the scene, I can see it happening in my head. I can literally see it like a movie. And it is super easy for me to just write the scene down. Because that's all I'm doing right now. It's literally first drafting chapter 45 and the extra additions for chapter 46 is just first drafting them, just getting them on the page in a nice kind of way, basically. So right now I have chapter 47, 48, and 49. So chapter 47 is the continuation of chapter 46, and then chapters 48 and 49 used to be one chapter, just chapter 48, and I broke it into two. So chapter 48 is pretty much brand new. Like, I have to completely switch POV with, like, the basic information I have has to be in a different POV, and I have to, yeah, it's so it is almost 2 p.m. I technically have 3 chapters in this little group that I'm working on right now to first draft. So I have until about 3:15, 3:30. So let's say I have an hour. Let's just put it that way, because you all know how that goes. So I technically have an hour. I would want to get through as much as possible. I want to say I can tackle all 3 chapters because it's just first drafting, and I've gotten quite a bit. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. We shall see. We shall see. I'm hoping to tackle the first draft versions of these 3 chapters today, so then tomorrow morning I can go through them and do, like, the cleaning up, edit, bringing it all, you know, tomorrow. That's the plan. That's the hope. I will, yeah, we'll see how they go. My hair is, like, very annoying. Anyway, moving on. It is 2:42, so just under an hour since I started. I am done with the first pass of the 5 chapters I've been doing up to now. So here is my question now. It is 2:45 almost. I have probably another half hour for sure. So the question is, should I go back and start editing the 5 chapters I'm working on and finish them and kind of close off the first leg of the quest? Or should I move into the next handful of chapters and prepare them? Or should I do nothing? Just find something else to do with myself? You know, it's so, okay, this is the funny thing. Someone else at this point would probably be like, oh, I'm done, you know, I did this, I'm done for the day, I'm happy with the work I've done, that's cool. Stop for the day, move on. The thing with me is that I don't know when I'll have any writing time, like this. I have this half hour now, and the girls are playing happily, everything is cool. Once hubby's home, it's family time, it's, you know, a whole bunch of other things. I rarely write in the afternoons. Sometimes, you know, random pockets of time pop up, but it's not a given. And then it's like, I don't know what tomorrow holds. Like, I have no idea, you know, like if things don't go well during homeschooling, or, you know, it's just everything could derail. So having half an hour and just not using it, you know what I mean? What should I do? I don't know. I'll think about it for a moment, and you guys will probably see me again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, probably the last day of the vlog. I don't think I'll drag it out like the whole week. I think I might do like a half week, and then I don't know. I guess you'll find out tomorrow what I decided to do. But my options are definitely like I can either finalize chapters, read through them, edit them, or I can give myself the day and edit them tomorrow morning. I don't know what I want to do. I can also move forward and kind of figure out the next, like, the next few chapters, but that would be moving on quite a bit. I do need to rearrange the chapters. I might just kind of sit and do like silly work. Like, since I broke up chapter 48 and made it chapter 48 and chapter 49, I now need to change the rest of the chapters. So 49 becomes 50, 50 becomes 51, 50, you know, that kind of thing. So I might just do like silly stuff like that and still use the precious time I have, but use it on something that, like, I don't want to have to waste time tomorrow, for example, on that, you know, and then I can just move into the chapters once I'm done with the edits, huh? I think that's what I'll do. I'll do like little stuff. I'll kind of, you know, just prep myself for success tomorrow. Yeah? Okay. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow, but as we stand right now, I am really happy, because I'm, like, tomorrow we're definitely going to tackle up to chapter 49. We'll be done up to chapter 49, which is insane to me. I'm really, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just, yeah. Progress is happening, and I'm terrified that something is gonna you know. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. And it's just, you know, story of my life. But whenever I pick up momentum, something happens, and just I'm determined. I'm determined to get this done. I'm not giving up on it. Okay. Well, yeah. See you in the next clip tomorrow. You know how it goes. Why? Okay. My hair at certain times of the month, the oil, I don't know, just terrible, terrible. Anyway, footsteps. I just pressed the camera. Okay, so it is 11 a.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of October. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I was wearing yesterday. It is what it is. What am I even doing? I actually got a bit of work done yesterday. A bit of work. I got a lot of work done. So a hubby came home and decided to cut the grass. So there was a ton of noise outside, so I figured there was no point in updating you guys. But I finished up all the chapters. I read through them, I re-edited, I did all the things. I am officially done up to chapter 49. 49 is done. I am now in what is newly now chapter 50. I need to transfer notes from my draft, from my printed draft to the document. The goal for today is to tackle chapters 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54 in regards to just transferring of notes, really. Keeping it simple, keeping it, I know I'll probably do more. Probably, whenever I say that, I realize I have a problem now because of the chapter. So I basically broke chapter 48 into two chapters. No, chapter 48. I made it 48 and 49. Yes. And then 49 became 50, etc., etc. My little ticky thing is off now. My little ticky thing is off completely now. And initially I was like, I'll just add two little boxes at the bottom, just keep ticking through the chapters and just tick, My brain can't do that. I hate it. I need to redo it. I need to sit down and do a new one of these, tick all the boxes that I've done, just to keep it up to. And there's a big possibility that chapter 56 is also going to be cut up and chopped up, and so I'm kind of like, I'm trying to hold back until I get to that point, because there is a possibility, I'm not sure yet. Based on my critique partner's feedback and my general thoughts, I'm just kind of bouncing between something. But that's way ahead. That's like 5 chapters down. We're not gonna go there right now. But I was so devastated because I went to tick off all the chapters I did yesterday, because I did 44, I did 45, I did 46, 47, 48, and then I was like, oh no, the colors don't match, because I changed the POVs and I changed the chapters. Anyway, that's just my sad life, isn't it? The life of a... So, at this point, we are done with the first part of the quest. We are now moving on to the second magical artifact they need to find. A lot is happening in our relationship. The romance is we're reaching the point where he's kind of realizing this is what's happening. Okay, I want this gal, she's kind of still holding on to her initial plan. Holding on, like really, really trying to hold on. Like, it's not working very well, but she's trying. She's in denial full on. Well, he is now starting to kind of move from denial to, I want this. I can't really have it because there are a bunch of problems. Hello?
Mom?
Yes?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry. Give me one moment. I'm coming. I'll be right there.
I'm starving.
Yeah, go sit down. I'm coming. I just need to quickly... Yeah, okay. As I was saying, what was I even saying? I think, oh yes, the romance. He's not in denial anymore. He knows he wants her, but he also knows that there are like quite, big reasons why it wouldn't work out, not between them so much as just the circumstances they're in. So it's getting fun. But he's also he's reaching the point where he starts to kind of want to get close to her and want to be, with her and around her, and suddenly she's like, when did we go to from avoiding each other to suddenly, what's happening? so fun times up ahead. I got a quite interesting moment and a bit of a shift and extra little scene right from the get-go in chapter 50. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, I need to, okay, everyone wants snacks. It's 11 o'clock. They got a point. It is okay. I'll be right back to start writing. Snacks have been dispensed. everything theoretically is all good. Let's start transferring some notes because we're getting, oh gosh, okay. We're moving through this. We're moving through this. I'm so excited because I feel like I'm moving through. I mean, I'm on chapter 50 and there's like 84, 85 chapters total. Insanity? Much? Yes. Okay. Let's get some work done. Ignoring the post-lunch mess. So, I got a bit of work done until 12:30. Actually, probably past that. I was talking to hubby and trying to do things. I shouldn't do that because I get very tired when I'm trying to transfer notes into the document whilst talking to someone on the phone. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. Yet I do it, so. Anyway, it just tires me. It is 2 o'clock and what am I looking at? I'm really stuck. So chapters 50 through 54 they're going to find another of the artifacts. So it's the whole process of them realizing they have to do this, setting off to do so, the things that happen where they go, finding the artifact itself, everything goes really terrible. And then they are kind of getting over the, kind of calming down after all the, the shebang. And then chapter 55 is where we kind of, at this point how I have it is I move through the calm, and the theory is that they would have time in between until the next artifact, but they're surprised by something else. And there's like 3 scenes in this chapter, which is from Maddox's point of view. The final scene kind of starts the next chapter. It's kind of overlaps. It's the last scene in the chapter 55 is pretty much the same scene half of the same scene in chapter 56, but from different POVs. However, my critique partner mentioned, and I do agree with the main part of the point which she made, was this particular scene and then kind of jumping into finding the 3rd artifact suddenly without expecting it is very emotionally heightened for Maddox. It's a lot about him. It has to do with his arc. It has to do with what he wants, what he believes about himself, what he went through as a child, just the whole shebang. It's really, really big for him emotionally. I just hit the table, sorry. And having this scene that's so impactful for him emotionally, that means so much for him, and he sees things in a very specific way, from having that whole scene in Petra's POV is kind of missing out on really, really giving, there was just, the thing was, I did it that way because I wanted to insert a vision. So Petra has these visions throughout the book. And there was one in this particular scene that is important and vital for them in order to move on and find what they need to find. So now I kind of have to, I'm kind of like, it makes sense for the scene to be in his POV because he is more emotionally impacted by it. He is more emotionally vested in it. It hurts him a lot more. Plus, he doesn't know the truth about a lot of things that he feels, and he doesn't know the actual reality of his magic, basically. So that also lends to a much better...
She wants to go to a McDonald's inside Minecraft. Because I told her...
Interruptions, but anyway, the crux of it is I need to figure out a way to add the vision, allow him to be able to see the vision as well in order for the vision to be in there, but have it be in his chapter. That's the conclusion based on my critic partner's notes. And it does, the more I talk about it now, the more it makes sense. So even though I haven't finished the previous chapters, 50 to 54 I just put the notes in. My head is very stuck on chapter 55 right now. I'm not gonna do it, but I've just been really thinking about it until I find it like a solution, if you will. And now that I found a solution, I feel like I can move on to chapter 50 again. Isn't that weird? That's so weird. That's so weird. This is what, okay, I think the more I do these little vlogs, as silly as they may be, as not as, I don't know, they're not very lifestyle-y, they're not very like cozy and nice and cute. It's just me sitting at my desk. Anyway, you know what I mean. They're not like fancy or anything. I think the main thing that I'm getting from it is the ability to kind of talk about my project, you know? So anyway, it is helping me. It is making me do more work, I think. It is. Anyway, with that being said, I think I have figured out what I'm gonna do. I think I am going to be switching the POV. It's a pretty big POV switch. All the information is there. It's not like I have to really think. It's just I need to get into his head when I'm kind of going through the same path that leads them to a specific location, at which point there's the vision, and then after a little bit, it's kind of, yeah, then Petra can take over and it's pretty fun. That's fine. I mean, and actually, funnily enough, switching the POV at this point, I would, because right now as it stands, there's like, chapter 55 was Maddox's POV, then 56, 57, 58 was from Petra's POV, so 3 chapters. So technically switching one of the POVs will actually kind of bring a bit more balance as well. And as I said, it makes sense. It makes sense. Whilst the next scene following this chapter needs to be in Petra's POV, because she's more emotionally invested. She's more into, like, she has more access to certain things. So I think that makes sense. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So now it is 10 past 2. This is a decision I have to make. Should I make notes, transfer notes, etc., set up chapters 55 and 56? Now that I thought of it, I probably will do it now that I thought of it. Just now that it's like fresh and clear in my head, I'd rather do it now than kind of spend like an hour tomorrow kind of like, what was I thinking yesterday? So, and then I might bounce back to 50 and do a first pass if I have time. We shall see. We shall see. I will be honest and say today dragged a little bit. It dragged a bit. It wasn't the best of, you know. That's okay. I do want to try and start waking up early and maybe getting some writing in before the girls wake up. The time change really messes with me, but I do enjoy the fact that morning is earlier, basically. So, in the summer, because we are heading towards the summer. I am in Australia, for anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, I rambled on for a way long time. I'm gonna transfer the notes and thoughts and whatnot for chapters 55 and 56. And then I'll decide if I have time, I will decide if I'm gonna kind of keep going or not. Yeah? Yeah, because this clip is already 8 minutes long. I'm just, thank you for listening to me. Okay, so we are ending the vlog. It is Thursday, the 9th of October. This day doesn't count for the vlog though, really, because I feel like in my attempt to kind of get myself into writing vlogs, 3-day increments are probably the best bet right now. Even though there is something I want to talk about. But we'll talk about it in the next one. We'll see. You know. I have, to finish the vlog, to end the vlog, I actually set up notes for, what have I done here? I've set up notes all the way up until chapter 55. I have even started working a bit on chapter 50, now kind of going back and kind of going through it. I figured out what I want to do with the chapters following chapter 55. I have actually also figured out something I'm going to be doing in chapter 50 actually. I'm gonna be moving some things around, which I thought I was gonna give myself Thursday off from vlogging, but I feel I might start vlogging just to talk about what I want to do in chapter 50. Talking to you guys helps immensely. That is all I have to say about that. So, I am very happy with where I am right now. It is the 9th of October. My original goal of finishing on the 15th, I mean, I really doubt it, because at this point we're looking at like another 35 chapters. Is it? It is. 35 chapters. I don't think I'm gonna get 35 chapters done in the next like 5 to 6 days. However, I do feel like it won't be that much longer. So it might not be the 15th of October, but I'm pretty confident that I will be done by the end of October. Like, that is a given. So it is what it is, you know. Because funnily enough, there are some chapters that I fly through, and then there are some chapters that need a bit of work, you know, and I don't want to rush them. I want to do a good job. and then get it to beta readers, and then... Okay, don't want to get ahead of myself. I always do that. I will see you guys in the next one.